Well, you say you disagree with my take, but what you're arguing for is, I think, some sense of uniformity within the party. Obviously, you're going to have people with different passions, different points of view, but if they have to subscribe to the Liberal position and they have to be disciplined and loyal, then that is very different to the sort of broad church we have seen in recent years, where there is the infighting, the moderates trying to get rid of the conservatives, the white-anting that's happened. And I've got to say, this piece by Janet Albrechtsen in The Australian is, I think, far more sensible advice. She argues that without a firm foundation of values, a political party is just a house of cards, and that instead of the Liberal Party running from the culture wars, they need to embrace them. She writes, everything is about culture. What kind of country do you want to be? If Liberals don't start embracing that, explaining policies through the prism of what kind of culture we want, they may as well fold their tent and save donors a heck of a lot of money. Gary, how do you see it? What is the path forward for the Liberals? How can they become electable again after this catastrophic result?
They've got to stand for stuff or they'll fall for everything. And look, I understand Nick's point, and I also understand Paul Kelly's point. And in theory, the concept of the broad church is okay. But my caveats are this. You've got to have purpose. You've got to have passion. You've got to have vision. You've got to be authentic. And so they can have a broad range of personalities, a broad range of policies, positions, and I guess a broad range of, moderate to more conservative views exercised. But in the end, you've got to actually galvanise all of that for a purpose. And the purpose has to be Australia. And so the Liberal Party desperately needs that kind of strength of leadership. When Sir Robert Menzies was around, the leadership was against the extreme left, the communists. He took all of that on. I remember reading Jim Killen's first speech in early 1956. I wasn't around, but I read it years later, where he was talking about the fight between mainland China and free China, Taiwan and China. He was right onto the whole kind of threat of the Reds that were coming for us, the way that society would change. John Howard equally also galvanised Australians for a purpose. So a broad church got behind a leader, and that's what we need. We need to have a strength of leadership, authenticity, values-based, to Janet Albrechtsen's excellent point, values-based, and to own the Australianisms associated with everything. Stop the world trying to interfere with us. Make Australia for Australia. Make it great again. Can I say that? I mean, you can do it. Why are we getting so scared at every first bit of criticism from the left?
Well, this seems to be the problem. They're so terrified of some sort of media backlash from people who will never back them in the activist class, academia. And they're scared to actually have an authentic, principled, strong position that is dramatically different to Labor. And we saw that at this election. We saw them go with this small target strategy. It was a disaster, and yet you've got all these hacks in the media telling them to do more of that, to veer even more to the left, to try to appeal to voters who are never going to back them.
Exactly.
Gentlemen, Gary Hardgrave, Nick Cater, thanks for your time tonight.